everybody, and welcome to another Wavelength Wednesday. I'm your host, Waveney, and every week I bring you tips and strategies geared towards connecting, inspiring, and influencing you to being your best in your life, in your job, or career. That's a mouthful. Alrighty, and so I hope everyone had the opportunity to look at I'll call it a mini course from last week regarding about how to ace interviews. And like I mentioned, I felt like it was so timely because there are things that people do without noticing. So it's really long. That's why I'm calling it a mini course. And so I would encourage you to, when you find some time, to have a look at it. It'll really help you. All right. And so if you've joined me in March, you would realize from the onset, you would realize that the theme this month is, I call it how to. So we spoke about how to, what do you call it? How to prepare for your annual appraisal. Last week was how to ace an interview. And this week I thought I will talk about how to deal with a toxic work environment. And the reason why I wanted to do that is because even now with everything that's going on in the world, I feel like mental health is so important. Gone are the days when people feel like, okay, you come to work and that's just it, you should work. But this is one of the reasons why I created the People's Brand, because people need to bring their whole selves to work. And so if you would peruse the content, right, just head on over to YouTube. All my videos are housed there. If you would look at the content, and if you would look even at the workshop I have done and will do in the future, if you looked at those, you would realize that it's a holistic approach, and that's the approach I take. You would realize that I'm not just telling you talking about stuff that impact us at work, but I'm talking about real life situations and giving you tools to really help you be your best self. Because when you're off balance, if something affects one part of your life, it will affect your work life, and people need to understand that. So that's what it's all about. So how do you deal with a toxic work environment? Now, there's so many different definitions of a toxic work environment, but I will say a toxic work environment, to sum it up, is an environment in your workplace where the prevailing culture is one of negativity. It is one with drama, and it is one where your growth and development is stunted. And that's my own summary and definition. Obviously there are others, but let me say that a toxic work environment to me is one where the culture of the organization is it's negative. The prevailing culture is negative, and your growth and development is stunted. And so many people, let me go back to growth and development. Many people are comfortable in the jobs that they're in. And if they're, for example, let's say a janitor, and people might say, well, why are you doing that job? Why are you still doing that job? It's okay if you want to be a bank clerk. It's okay if you want to be a janitor. It's okay if you want to be a server or whatever, a barista for the rest of your life. That's totally fine. I mean, everybody cannot take on the responsibility of being of a manager or a supervisor, right? So these people, if you're one of those people that just really like where you are, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, and don't let anybody tell you there's something wrong with it. What is wrong, though, is you just know what you know from the beginning from when you started, that you don't take the initiative to learn. So for example, if you're a server, and you just know the basic greeting and where to, you see your guests, and that's it. You can take it up, but you could kick your learning and development up a notch. Like, I would expect you to know a little about wine. So when you're having a conversation with your customer, you can suggest, you're having this salmon, well, I suggest this Pinot Grigio, or we have a really great rosé that would go with your appetizer, something like that. So there's nothing wrong with staying where you are for the rest of your life in a particular job or career, but you have to learn. If you are a server, be the best server, learn. If you are a janitor, be the best janitor, learn, right? Because everybody can't be all things. So yeah, back to a toxic work environment. So what are the signs of a toxic work environment? Now, before I get into that, if you really like the content, please, if you're looking at YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you've stumbled upon this via Facebook, hit like and follow so you get the content. And if you're looking at Instagram, just follow, right? So you don't miss out. And I also offer coaching packages. So if you're like, wow, I wish I could learn more, I wish I could develop more, reach out to me. I do have coaching packages. So reach out to me at hellowaveme@thepeoplebrandskn.com or send me a DM. All right. So what are the signs of a toxic work environment? So there's lots of signs. So I kind of summarize it. So the first sign, it is drama and confusion. There is not the first sign, but one of the signs. Something is always going on. There is always some sort of confusion, some sort of drama between co-workers, maybe between the manager and the worker. There is something going on that has nothing to do with work, or if it does have to do with work, it is okay. So had a bit of rain there. Okay, so what are the signs of a toxic work environment? So some of the signs are drama and confusion, whether it's always between co-workers, probably about work, probably not, maybe about the manager and the workers, with the manager and the workers, could be work related, could be not. Then you have a lot of gossiping that's going on. You get pulled into, many times I hear people talk about it, their manager or supervisor calls them into a meeting and they're saying, well, I heard that you said, or I heard that you did, or they pull stuff off of their Facebook or produce some WhatsApp snap photo screenshot of something that is totally not work related and is not unprofessional, but for some reason they feel like this person should not have posted that. So you have a lot of gossip in there. Then you have a situation where people are not empowered to make decisions. So what does that mean? And I see it all the time. It means that simple decisions, like if you're supposed to send an email out, your boss wants to always vet it before it goes out. They always want to hand in everything. You may find a lot of micromanaging going on. But with regards to not being empowered, when I say I see it all the time, lots of times when in my primary role, we hire people from that hasn't worked in hospitality before, and we say, okay, you're empowered to do this, or you can make this decision or that decision. They're like, because it's alien to them. So a toxic work environment has a lot of persons are not empowered. It's only the manager can have that, can make that authorization. Then you have disrespectful and unprofessional managers and supervisors and co-workers, just totally disrespectful. You say good morning, people blatantly ignore you, or they may say something. That is the prevailing culture. And then lastly, communication. There's a lot of unhealthy communication. So what do I mean by that? It means that people withhold information. So you go into a business place and there's only one person that knows about this thing, and that person has gone for lunch, or that person is in a meeting. That shouldn't be, right? That shouldn't be. Very rarely in a company, there's very little, not very rarely, there's very little that employees should know about, right? This is the way of the world. This is the way businesses are operating. Because you need people to feel like they're a part of a family, right? Yes, everything is not going to be shared, everything they can't know, but most things they do know. So there's a lot of withholding information from people, and it usually comes from management. There's a lot of misleading information, like somebody says something one day and then it's another thing, and then decisions are made and people find it out. So sometimes the customer or the client finds it out before the person that is works there. And so these are just some behaviors and signs of a toxic work environment, right? And it's really difficult to work in an environment that is laced with these types of behaviors and attitudes, and it really takes a toll on your mental health. So what can you do about this? Well, the first thing to do about it is you need to make an exit plan. Unless you are a part of, you love what's going on, you need to make an exit plan. And I would want to believe that the fact that you're looking at the People's Brand, that you're viewing every week, that you are on a mission for personal development and that you want to do better. So I know you're not a part of that circus. So you need to make an exit plan. All too often, and it sounds like it's simple, right? All too often, people complain about where they work. Oh, this is happening, that is happening, my boss is this, my this is happening. And let me insert here that in a toxic work environment, sometimes there's nobody to go to, and it's really, really bad. I'm not talking about if you have an issue with your manager or coworker and you have not addressed it, because sometimes people do that. Things are happening and they haven't addressed it. I'm talking about, like, this is the prevailing culture throughout the organization, right? So what you need to do is to get out, and the way you get out is by making an exit plan that is actionable, right? Don't just talk about how bad your day is. Don't just talk about how bad your coworkers are, how much they gossip. People will get fed up of you. People get fed up of people just complaining. What are you going to do about it? So what can you do about it? Well, you can first start by updating your resume. You can start by brushing up on your interview skills. Go look at the video from last week, or call me up so we can have a coaching session and get you prepared, right? You can start looking for jobs. So you go online and really pay attention to what jobs are out there. And a lot of the times people just, they look once or twice and then there's nothing and they give up. You cannot give up. That's why I say make an actionable plan. So if it's every Friday evening when you get home from work, or every Saturday morning that you start looking for jobs, I would do that. That's what I would do. But brush up on your resume, start looking for jobs, refine your interview skills, and also network. People underestimate the power of networking. If you, very rarely you will find business or conversations leading or speaking about, hey, you know, we really need this person at a fit. So if you are accustomed to going to a particular place, maybe switch it up a bit. Maybe you go for a Friday afternoon line, maybe you go at this particular bar, go somewhere else, right? But put yourself out there and do different things. That's how you meet different people, and that's how conversations are had. But make an actionable plan, stick to it, but you need to start getting out. The other thing too is manage your stress levels, manage your mental health, because I can tell you right now, your mental health is probably going to be the one thing that is going to suffer through all this. Your mental health, right? There's a guy from last week. He didn't say anything though. Um, your mental health is gonna suffer about it, because what's happening is you don't want to be there. You're going to the work environment. You're just disgusted. Things are happening, and you just don't want to be there. You may be even reaching the point where you are calling out sick, and I would not encourage you to do that. Don't call out sick unless you are really sick. You have to tough it out. One of the ways in which I have overcome places that I worked that I really didn't like, or I had to really work on my mindset. And some of the ways I did it was, okay, what am I learning? And I had to tell myself, listen, this is a lesson in how I deal with these particular situations. I will be able to help someone. This is even before I dreamed up the people's brand, right? This is even before that, because a few years ago I was in a job that I really hated, and I fought within myself to be like, you know what? I need to figure out a way. I need to figure it out, because one day at work I got really upset, and I hate when I get upset because I feel like two different people, you know. There were no repercussions for being upset. It's just that I don't like to get to that point. And I said, we really need to manage this. And so one of the things I started doing was meditating. And you may think that this sounds very woo-woo. Let's wait until this passes. Yeah, you may think that this sounds very woo-woo and very like, oh my God, and this is what she said. But meditation helps. I believe in it. I'm a fan of it. It centers you, it calms you. Some of the most successful people in the world meditate. They will tell you that, right? Like I subscribe to Charlemagne the God. He is on, what is he on? Revolt TV. He meditates. Oprah, of course, but there are other successful people that swears. Jeff Bezos, these people, this is a guy from Amazon, they swear by meditation, and they do it religiously, because it's not a one-time thing, right? And so I got into that, and it really centered and calmed me, and I would encourage you to do that. Right now there's an app called Headspace. The company in which I work, they've given everybody for free, which is great. And Headspace is really a mindfulness, that's what you call it, a mindfulness app. They have meditations there, but it's just not meditations. They have stuff on kindness, on performance, on productivity. You guys should go and check it out. It's called Headspace, and I'll put it in the body below. I'll refer to it. But yeah, you need to manage your stress levels. The other thing too is you need to make an intentional decision to exercise, right? You need to be intentional about exercising, because that helps with your stress levels. And I would even say journal. I'm a fan of journaling out your feelings. And although this is not going to change the situation where you are, it's going to change you. And when you walk into that place, you will be better able to be equipped with managing in that scenario, right? So I really believe in this. Number 3, make your desk or office space positive. And the key is that you cannot control what is going on. You can't control your manager, you can't control your co-workers, you cannot control what is already a cultural and systemic problem, right? But you can control you. So make it, if you have a desk, if you have a cubicle, put up a photo of your family, or of a time that you are happy. Put up a quote that keeps you centered, but make where you are positive, right? Number 4 is don't encourage or entertain gossip. If somebody comes to you with a story, I'm sorry, right now I'm busy, and you may even have to get to the point where you say, you know what, I don't want to hear this. This is not what I'm about. And you can say those things in a respectful manner, but don't entertain gossip or drama. Let people know where you stand. Let them know where you stand. And if you want you to let people know where you stand, they're not going to come with you with their foolishness, right? So you do that. What is my other? Okay, ask lots of questions. Now, for clarity. Now, the reason why I put this in is because some people work in an environment where they have boss leaders that say one thing, the manager or supervisor might say one thing, and then tell them a next thing the other day. So the thing that you need to do is ask a lot of questions for clarity, and you paraphrase or rephrase. So they may say, I'll need you to work on this particular project, and here's what I want you to do. And so you can say, okay, so what I am understanding is that this is what you want, right? The other thing too, the other point I want to make is you utilize your emails and notebooks. So you don't just sit there taking in the information. You always want to have a notebook. I'm a fan of that as well. You need a notebook. If you are called, even if you weren't working in a toxic work environment, if your boss calls you or your manager calls you to his office and he has like, this is what I want, you should have a notebook. So what I would do is I would utilize my notebook. If you don't have a notebook, go get one, right? And I would utilize emails, so there's an email trail if you have emails, right? But everybody can have a notebook, and so you write it down, right? You write it down, and unless the person is very, I don't know, very manipulative, or I don't know, I mean really bad, how could they get out of that? No, and this is what you ask me to do. But you take notes, but you do it in a professional way. You don't do it in a way that they like, you're like, let me take my notes so I can have a backup. No, it's very calm. If they ask you what you're doing, you can simply say, you know what, I want to capture this information so I could do a really, I could do a great job, or I could execute the way you want me to. Something like that, right? Everything doesn't have to be a battle. Everything doesn't have to be a battle. There are ways of getting around things. And one of the things that you will find happen when you work in a toxic environment, two things can happen. You could either become like the environment, or you could be different. And this is about helping you to be different, right? It's a lot of work because it's emotional. It's all emotion. And if you are a positive person, if you are a person that's not about this, it's difficult. And sometimes you just can't get up and quit your job. And that was my case. I just couldn't get up and quit my job because I had bills to pay. So I had to find a way to manage me. And I am really proud of me because I made it. And now I'm here to help you. Okay, so the last thing is understand what's in your control. Understand this. You are in your control, other people are not. We get it twisted. We always try to change people. We always look outward. This is a situation and we try to change the situation. You cannot change anything. The only control we have over anything in this life is ourselves. It's ourselves, it's our attitude, it's our mindset. And I was listening to this lady that I really like. She's a British therapist. Her name is Marissa Peer, and she was talking about reprogramming your subconscious mind, because you know your subconscious mind is the one that drives the bus, really, but that drives your life. And she was saying your brain will do what you tell it to do, right? So you have to really be focused. If you're working in such an environment, you have to really keep your spirits up. You cannot, every time you complete, there's nothing wrong with venting, don't get me wrong, but every time there has to be a cutoff point. Every time you talk about a negative situation, you perpetuate it. You bring back up the memories of it, you bring back up the emotions of it, and you don't want that. So leave work at work and understand what you can control and work on you, right? So just really quickly, before I recap, if you'd like to be coached by me, send me an email at hellowaveney@thepeoplebrandskn.com or a DM, and I can help you. All right. So I said, make an exit plan that's actionable and stick to it. Don't give up. Manage your stress levels, work on your mental health, exercise, meditation, journaling helps. Make your desk and office space positive. Make that area fun with quotes or pictures that you like. 4, don't encourage the drama and gossip. We have a local song, bad mind people stay far away. Now, I wouldn't suggest that you go and play that at work. I mean, where people could hear you, because people may think like, oh, are they talking about me? Here's why, they'll already see that you're different, and you just don't want to offend anyone. You just don't want to be a part of the drama, right? Anyway, so don't encourage and entertain gossip. Ask lots of questions for clarity, especially when we spoke about the communication piece. Take notes, and use your emails as backup. Utilize email as much as possible if you're on it, so you can ask a question via email. They have to respond via email, right? And then lastly, understand what's in your control. You control you. You don't control anybody else. All right. And so we've come to the end of Wavelength Wednesdays. I certainly hope that you love this series. Your mental health is important, and you should work in an environment that supports your growth and development. And mind you, every workplace is different, and every workplace isn't 100%, right? But you want to get to that work environment that really is supportive at least 80% of the time. So I'll see you next week, and have a wonderful Wednesday. Bye.